Hello there and welcome back everyone. We are now 4 turns away to ultimate victory, and the Exterminators have passed their test with flying color. Flying colors even, jeez. And this might be a pretty short video, I'm gonna have to say. It's like 4 turns away. There's really no need to push the envelope because there's no reason to like conquer all the worlds. And massive scale construction is about to finish, so we're nearing the end point there. And to be honest, I figured it'd be a little bit longer. I think I predicted it would be around... I said something about 500 turns probably before we got near the point where the campaign would end, but we're actually well before then. Because I think when I said that was actually like 30-40 turns away, or 30-40 turns ago even, so this is going to be a bit of a short video, but I'm just going to play around with my exterminators a little bit. I'm going to have a look at the huge scale constructions and probably just prepare for what's left in mine. Because really, yeah, I'm going to spend a good amount of time, ideally, working on at least my one huge scale ship that I have in mind. I actually have 2 that I want to develop, but considering there's not much point, considering the campaign's at its end, I'm probably just going to stick with just the one. And that way, at least that way, I'm losing my train of thought. What the hell am I trying to do? Well, I'm just trying to admire the fireworks a little bit, and of course try to see how exactly this functions. But yeah, I'm probably going to spend the next little while just working on my huge scale ship, put a lot of time and effort into it, and of course, just use it, have it be a representation of my victory for this campaign. Because it was quite impressive, I need to say, how effective that went. And during that time, hopefully, I'm going to work towards starting a new campaign off with a brand new race. A brand new custom race at that I'm going to add. I'm not going to go with any pre-established ones. And is it me? Or is it like cannon on my exterminator looking awful there? I feel like that should be worked on a bit. Although, not getting a good angle on it, so maybe that's another glitch with the design when I made the ship. Like, the engines were messed up, and I think the front's also messed up a tiny bit, so I got a few things to tweak before I publish this on the Steam, I think. But otherwise, I'm just gonna revel in ooh, excuse me. Revel in pretty much what is going to be my most powerful ship there, essentially. Have some fun with that and start developing my new race. Or, yeah, new race for the new campaign. I haven't quite decided what kind of faction or ideology I want to follow. I'm probably leaning towards Malevolent because that's going to be more enjoyable for everyone watching, right? Unless I can figure out some really convenient, like, involving type of way to have a benevolent race be at least entertaining, or what is it, suspenseful to watch, because really benevolent, all they're about is like expansion, just getting as much tech as they want. They ideally like to play nothing but the more passive games, since it's not really encouraged for them to be violent, is there now? I don't think so anyway. And even with my pragmatic race here, only reason I've been going to war with a lot of these factions is because of the hostilities. Hell, I explained my thought process there for why I basically went to war with the races I did. The Salins were insanely hostile to me right from the get-go. They were dominant force there. They had the boost to the economy, of course. So, I was kind of like, I couldn't have just let that go, right? They were just gonna stab me. Never mind the backstab. And I would have had no choice, quite frankly. But probably be on the back foot for God knows how long if I didn't take the time to develop my Moth, or not even, yeah, my Moth, my Beetle, and have them push back against the Salins, and most importantly do the first strike. That was probably what's the most important thing that it did for me there. Because the Moths and Beetle, even though they're practically a retired ship now, have basically been what carried me forward since the very beginning. And then once the pulverizers were built, stupid Thanos are just destroying all my isolated star bases. That's really nice of them. then the pulverizers basically cleaned up and are what got me this influence and power of where I'm at now. And I'm really hoping I don't really lose. I know I went to war with everyone there, and that probably was a dumb idea. But there's no possible way it can push back my influence to the point where I lose, right? Because I have the home world's garrisoned. Sala's like the only thing that's not defended, and there's nothing nearby to put it at risk anyway. So you think I would be safe there? And basically with the campaign snowballed from there. As soon as I took the Salins, I went relatively quickly to war with the Yor, and I gotta say, I am really shocked with how easy and how beneficial it was to take the Iconian or the Yor homeworld or the capital city planet. That was ridiculous. I got all this upper territory. Their plants were nothing but culture influence boost or influence based. Come on, really? That's just taking that one world there just was ridiculous, and I had the military power to back it up. All this influence expansion too. So it's a little ridiculous there, needless to say. And as the Iconians try futile to try and get back their territory before the campaign ends, we are just gonna look at a massive scale ship, and apparently a bunch of ships, and apparently just selecting something is kind of pointless, isn't it? What I'm actually really curious about is see what the passive traits are. Hull mastery, 20% reduction or 20% capacity. Not that it matters. We don't have really a time for it. But I do want to take a look at some of this stuff, because hell, why not just delay the campaign a little bit just to admire some of the ships? We got the Tsunami. It quite frankly doesn't look like a massive ship, does it? But it does have the production cost for it. Holy crap. That's because of the phaser pods it's using. That's pretty much why. We got the Tsunami L, which I don't know what's different about this. Earthquake. That is a little bit over the top, isn't it? Look at all those missiles. And let's see, we got Volcano, which is this is kinetic weapons, right? Yep, lots and lots of pulse cannons. And whatever the heck Impact is that like a carrier ship or... oh, it's a hybrid, never mind. And of course, the majority of his damage is all in the lasers, because obviously, those are like the most powerful weapons I have right now. Everything else is like a second level type of kinetic weapon or missile weapon. I don't have much going for it otherwise. So that's a little amusing. And wow, 550 hull versus, wow, 220 of what my Exterminator is. The amount of firepower that these massive scale ships would be for me. It's a shame the campaign couldn't really go on, because I would love to build what would be, well, basically what I'm trying to say is I already had planned for like an even bigger version of the Exterminator and Pulverizer as a massive scale ship, but that's not the one I'm considering building. The other one is more of a flagship type of vessel that benefits from the Guardians primarily, because the Guardians were originally developed to be the support ship for the massive scale capital flagship I had in mind, whereas the other massive scale ship, which I'm pretty much not going to build, was just going to be even more ridiculous version of what the Exterminator was, which obviously would mean would be overkill. But if the Exterminator was any indication, a massive scale version of that would just probably one-shot any ship in the game almost, if it didn't have defenses, except maybe another massive ship, because I don't think I'd quite have the firepower to get up to 500 points of damage, or however much damage it takes for pretty much, I'm losing my train of thought because of all the stuff going on. Yeah, I forgot. I lost it. Don't mind me, I forget. Oh yeah, I was thinking about the massive scale ship there. in terms of firepower, it pretty much would have been strong enough to maybe destroy my Exterminator in single salvo with that much mass, 550 with the additional 20% I was going to research. Oh, the potentials are endless. It's such a shame I'm never going to get to use it. Hopefully sometime later on down the road I will probably do that. But in the end I'm going to focus on the flagship, get that built in the meantime while I'm developing a new race. And I think I have only 2 turns left for victory. Do it? Yeah, 2 turns. And apparently I have 99% of the influence victory. I guess that's the counting down maybe? I'm going to assume. Because this definitely does not look like 99% of the influence. So, just gonna really guard everything. And Cry says, I don't care what you're doing, just go passive for me. Shipyard, don't care about you, so just build some exterminators for me. Alright. Like I said, just get all this out of the way, not that it matters, so it doesn't bother me. And again, I lost my train of thought. Where the hell was I talking? Oh yeah. Just, like I said, I haven't decided on what kind of ideology or path I want the race to take. I'm definitely not going to go with pragmatic again, though, since that's what the Kry'klon Expanse was going to be. So I'm just going to enjoy that. And otherwise, yeah, they're either going to be benevolent or malevolent. Malevolent, it's pretty easy for that to be kind of amusing because I'm just going to be bloodthirsty and try and kill everything. Where benevolent, they're more reactionary, I would imagine, as far as their military power. A lot of colony management, micromanagement, and more passive play. I would like to play that way because that's pretty much how my playstyle is. I don't like being very aggressive, and not to mention the fact I played a lot of StarCraft 2, got really damn good at it. I really am fond of the late game control and the intensity of that, so I think that trickled down to all my the playstyle of other games too, especially if they're like strategy type games that have like a late game and an early game essentially. And of course I'm just ranting a lot there, or just going on a lot. Ooh, I'm gonna have some fun just watching. Well, I don't need 2 exterminators. Actually, I don't even need to watch it all, because we already know that's gonna get demolished. Just to put them in their place. Quite simply put. Because there's no way this could take damage, right? Nope, not even single point damage. And otherwise, again, I lost my train of thought again, but I'm just basically trying to kill time. Because like I said, there's not really much else to say. Really, the plan is pretty simple. I'm just going to do one final ship there to build. It's probably going to be pretty quick. Well, not pretty quick. I'm going to take a little bit extra time with it, obviously, in comparison to how the other ships have been. And begin uploading everything to the Steam, especially the ship designs there, because a good number of them at the point of this recording aren't exactly uploaded yet. And I still need to link the Kry'klon race with all of its ships that was made for this campaign as well. So I do need to get to that at some point soon. So the idea is to have them all uploaded by the end of the final ship design video, and when I'm ready to start transferring over to the next campaign. So there it is. Victory is ours. Pretty anticlimactic, wasn't it? And I guess that's in representation of the victory condition I had, isn't it? The culture victory, as it were. Alright. And I've annexed the planet in the process. Ooh, and I can continue playing. Not that it really matters, does it? So I am curious what stats. Is there any way I could find out what the Iconians, where they stood as far as their ascension points? Because I really would like to know how close they were. If there's any way for me to know that. Ascension crystals claim 5,517. How close was that? How close? Oh my god. If I hadn't destroyed those star bases when I did, they probably would have won that. because I wouldn't have been as aggressive as I was after all. So I very narrowly avoided defeat as a result of that. Wow. And I don't think I can see his stats anymore, can I? I kind of jumped out at needlessly. And I am also in the negative because of all the ships I built, so I'm gonna leave it at that there. This campaign is over. The sad thing is I probably won't get to go back to the Kry'klons anymore, because the only time I ever been spending with Galactic Civilization was for the YouTube series, and basically when I got started with the channel, that was the only reason I did these videos, was so I have an excuse to actually play these 4X games. Ideally I like the larger scale ones, but for the sake of pacing and trying to keep things interesting more and not as slow as this campaign seems like it did, I am going to probably try and slow it down, make it a little bit smaller rather. So that way it helps keep a good pace there, maybe it won't drag on as long and seem as slow as it did here, especially when I have such fast space after all. Anyways, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. It is much appreciated. Here's hoping the next series that I do is even better.